For example, we said, Bishr and Marisi, with regard to the ayah, Allah, the one who kills the believer deliberately, will be in hellfire forever. How many of you know the tafsir of this ayah? It's an ayah, I can tell you that. It's an ayah in Surah An-Nisa. How many of you know the tafsir of this ayah? Exactly what it means. I'm not going to ask you if you put your hand up, I just want a rough idea. If anyone has heard the tafsir of this ayah properly and understands it. So if someone like Bishr al-Marisi came up to you and said to you that there is an ayah in the Qur'an, and I'll pick up the mushaf and show you, whoever kills a believer deliberately, his recompense is Jahannam, he will live therein forever. He says to you, there you go. You say to him, Ya Bishr. You say to him, listen to me. Allah says that the ayat of the Qur'an are muhkam and mutashabih. I'm going to quote to you 2 ayat on either side of this ayah. Allah does not forgive that you make a partner with Him, but He forgives anything less than that for whoever He wills. Is this from the muhkam or the mutashabih? Muhkam. Whatever Allah will forgive anything less than shirk. And by consensus, killing is less than shirk. So Allah has said in 2 places, both sides of this ayah, a few ayahs before and then again a few ayahs after, Allah does not forgive you to make a partner with Him, and He forgives anything else for whoever He wills. So I don't know the answer to the one who kills a believer, but I know for certain that Allah's speech does not contradict itself, and Allah said He will forgive anything less than shirk, and therefore whatever you're saying to me is wrong. I don't know how it's wrong or why it's wrong, but it's wrong. And that's your answer. And you keep on this methodology that you have, but what do you have to have for this methodology to work? You have to have some fundamental knowledge of Islam. As for the one who has no knowledge of Tawheed and no knowledge of Islam, how are you going to reply? You don't know the ayah that Allah doesn't forgive, that Allah forgives anything less than shirk. You don't know the ayat that don't make dua to anyone other than Allah. How are you supposed to answer? This answer requires a basic knowledge of the principles of Islam. That is why the Shaykh began by explaining Tawheed and Shirk to you. So that you have enough, if you read the beginning part of the book, to be able to answer this general answer. So the way this book works, the beginning part of the book is there to give you the basic fundamentals that every Muslim needs, and not the answer to everything, but the basics, the fundamentals and the basics. Then he gives you a general answer. To use that general answer, you have to have the fundamentals and the basics. You have to know the basics of worshipping Allah and making a partner with Allah. The basics of it. You don't have to know every single hadith in Bukhari and Muslim and all of the others that people use to convince people something or other. And if you did, you wouldn't be able to, because subhanAllah, these people invent new ones all the time. We just saw one before. They took a hadith from Imam Tirmidhi and Imam An-Nasa'i. They changed the wording to include calling upon the Prophet ﷺ, and then they wrote at the bottom, Jami' al-Tirmidhi, Abu Dawud, An-Nasa'i and Ibn Majah. When it's not in any of these. The wording they gave, O Muhammad, save me, O Muhammad, help me, this is not in any of those books. You can't possibly hope to know every single misconception. You can't hope to know every single misconception. But what you need is a general concept. Your general concept is really easy, really simple. The ayah in Surah Al Imran, plus the basics of the religion that you know, plus the fact that Allah's speech doesn't contradict itself. I will give you something muhkam and basic and simple that the whole religion is based upon, that you don't make dua to other than Allah. And it's not just one ayah in Surah Al-Jinn. The ayat that mention not making dua to other than Allah are in the tens, perhaps even in the hundreds of the ayat that mention those who invoke other than Allah, those who make dua other than Allah, do not make dua to other than Allah, make dua to Allah, not to other than Allah. The ayat are many, so many that you can't avoid them in the Qur'an. When you're reading the Qur'an, you go through surah after surah, the word dua is used all the time. That don't make dua to other than Allah, make dua to Allah alone. Those people who turn away from my worship when they make dua. All of these aspects of dua are mentioned frequently in the Qur'an. You don't know this one ayah they brought. And notice how they used it. They'll use a random hadith, or they'll use a part of an ayah, a word of an ayah, a statement. Little bits out of context. The same thing.